and welcome to the Lotus SMP. Now, I'm sure majority of you have clicked on this video due to the title, and with that, I will say, yes, this is my final Lotus video of Season 3, and possibly my final Lotus video in general. But we will get to that later on in the video. If the reason you did click on this video was to just see why, this video will be chaptered, so you can just go and skip to the chapter in this video where I talk about that. But for now, we have some building to do today. So up on the top level with our wolf village, I want to go and build a building right kind of in this area on the edge. That way, when you are down there, you can look up and see the building. What building this is going to be kind of a surprise, so you'll have to watch to see what it is, but it is in theme with this video and it being our finale. Before we can actually start building, we need to clear some of these trees. That way we can actually build. So I am not going to bore you guys with me chopping down trees and doing a time lapse. So we are going to go and see a little clip from a few months ago. And then when I come back, all of the trees will be chopped down. So take it away, past squid. Right now, we are heading over to the shopping district to visit the Mobhead Museum because I got a little intel from somebody that there's something going on at the museum. So we are going to go check it out and see what's going on. Here is the shopping district. It looks like there's a lot more grass now. Here is the Mobhead Museum as well. All right, here it is. Nothing too suspicious going on. Let's check this chest. See if anybody donated any heads while we're here. Ooh, a compass. Okay, arrive at dark, bring a trident. It is currently morning right now, so we're gonna have to wait this out until dark. I do have my Riptide Trident on me. If we need our Channeling or Impaling Trident, then I do have that on me in my Ender chest. But we are going to head over to where this compass is. Hopefully I am able to read the compass because, yeah, that's kind of a struggle sometimes. All right, the sun is setting. I got my trident and the compass. I'm just at the edge of the shopping district. Let's continue on because it looks like the compass goes this way still. Oh, it's starting to turn. Oh, whoa. Oh my goodness. This is a lot of drowns and mob heads. Ouch. Let's see. Ooh. Oh. I'm kind of scared. Ah! Okay. It says bring a trident. They've got all the mob heads. They got some holding some on their heads. So I'm guessing we're supposed to kill them. I kind of feel bad for killing them. I guess I'm just gonna kill them and then we'll see what all heads we got. Alright, we got all of the mob heads from the drowns, and this is all we got. This is absolutely crazy. We're gonna have so many at the mob head museum. That's gonna be so cool. But there's also the little thing down here, which I wanted to check out. But it looks like where this and swim up. Oh, you're joking. I guess I missed the little entrance. Makes a lot of sense though. This is cool though. Obviously, as you can tell from this little armor stand, this was Pug that did this. So this was really cool. Even though I missed the little entrance, it was really cool seeing it at night with the redstone lamps. Now we can go and put these mob heads at the mob head museum, which is going to be really cool. I have went and put all the mob heads that we just got into the museum. This room is completely finished. The cave one is completely finished except for the blue axolotl. And then in the plain/flower forest section, we have a lot more in here. We got the Jeb sheep, which is really cool, the toast rabbit, all that. The two that really stand out to me though that I found really cool is of course the Jeb sheep, because instead of just having the regular sheep sound for the Jeb sheep, this is what they did for it. So they made it the sound that happens when you shear a sheep, which is really cool. And then the red sheep was really weird. I am very confused on why it's this, but it's kind of cool that it is, but it kind of took me off guard when I heard it. So this is what the red sheep sounds like. Yeah, I don't know why that's like that. But then this room is almost finished. We just need a few more in here. The ocean section is all finished. The nether is super close to being finished. We just need 4 more mob heads. The mushroom one now has way more than when I first started. The village and pillage one is almost finished. We just need a few more cats and a few more zombie villagers. This whole room is finished. And of course, the end room is finished. So a lot of progress on the mob head museum. We're almost close to finished, which is really cool. And now we have a nice cleared spot for our building. I did have to do a bit of terraforming over here. I didn't expect the ground to be really bad, but it is nice and cleared now, so we can build. Ugh, that zombie scared me. But we can go and finally build our building so you guys can finally see what we are building. So let's go and build our very last building on Lotus. And we have our finished building. The purpose of this building is this is my season 3 treasure room. Since this episode is my season 3 finale, I figured building a treasure room was a perfect thing to do in this episode. Basically, when you go inside, we are met with an armor stand of me, a lectern, which is for our armor and stuff. This is where I'm gonna leave it. And then we have spots with item frames on the wall, which is where we are going to put all of the items that I have collected this season. As you can see, I have 2 shulker boxes full of different things from this season. They're from interactions, events, shenanigans, all of those fun things that have happened either in videos or off camera. So the very first thing we are going to add to the wall is my very first wooden pickaxe. I made this on the first day of season 3, and it's finally getting a use because I always save my first pickaxes, but then I never do anything with it. So I'm finally giving one of my very first pickaxes a spot on the wall. The next item we have for our treasure room is my first stone pickaxe. This is my very first pickaxe when I upgraded to stone from the wooden one, so that has a place on our wall as well. Then we have this book, which is the Book of Poetry. This was not in an episode, this was just a book I gave Seaman one night, and he called it the Book of Poetry because let's just read the book. Hee man, am I right? Man, I love fishing. So that's great poetry. So it's going on the wall. Next, we have 2 items, which is the Wandering Cyan Sheep. The Wandering Cyan Sheep was a sheep that was on my land for a few days of the server. I dyed it cyan because I needed cyan wool, and then I decided to just keep it. And then I was trying to kill Seaman, and I accidentally killed the sheep. Rest in peace, Cyan Sheep. Along with the Wandering Cyan Sheep's death, we have our next treasures, which is from the fishing rod shenanigans. So we have the fishing rod from the fishing rod shenanigans with me, Seaman, Skipper, and Mafert. And we also have the poor pig that died flying, which was a pig that we put in a boat, tried to shoot it up, and then it ended up dying. So that is also in our treasure room. The next item we have is my warden horns. These were the very first warden horns that I made this season, the ones that I first showed you guys for the reveal, and the ones I have worn throughout the whole season. I decided to put them on the wall because since they were my very first warden horns, I thought that they were special. Then we have the Potato of Peace, which this exact potato, when I got it, I did not get it on camera, but basically during the beginning of the days of Lotus, I was threatening to kill Drift, and he would just continue to give me potatoes so I wouldn't kill him. So that is why this is the potato of peace. Our next item is my very first ever sheep milk. That is right, this has been in my house on display since I got it, but when Seaman first made the sheep milk model, he was showing it to everybody, and this was the very first one that he gave me as my kind of little taste test. And I just never drank it, and now it is on display in our treasure room. Then we have this amethyst crystal, which just has an Among Us emoji on it. Seaman put this in my mailbox or gave it to me. I think he put it in my mailbox, but yeah, this is the Among Us crystal. Next we have my boat. It says property of Hay Squid because we figured out that we were able to name boats and the names would stay, so I named it property of Hay Squid, so I would always have my boat. But this is the boat that I used to travel in the early days of Lotus when we did not have an elytra. Next up, we have this paper, which says, "Hello Squid, here's some mail from Luma." Back when everybody was at the Happy Campers, I put a mailbox there, and then I put a sign saying that I really wanted mail because I was lonely, and so Luma gave me this mail, which was very nice of her. Next up, we have 3 items, which are the arrow, sword, and bow from the end fight. I decided to keep these because the end fight was a big event and it was so crazy, so that is definitely going on our wall of treasures. And the last item on the first floor of the treasure room is this saddle from our adventure that we went on with Mefert and Chespy to get a saddle, where we finally fought a raid and got a ton of saddles. Coming up the stairs, we have our first item in the second floor, which is a Mefert head and my first kill of the season. This happened during the raid where we got the saddle, and I didn't actually even mean to kill him. I didn't even know I killed him until he gave me the head, and then I realized that the kill counted as mine. So this was my first kill of the season, and the first one that I killed in a while, because season 2 I did not kill anyone. So that one is very memorable. Then we have another piece of paper, which says, "Organize your chests or count your days." This was a piece of paper I put in Yogi's storage at the Happy Campers. He wasn't organized, so I put this paper in there. He never saw it because he left the server before then, so I took the paper back because I thought it was funny. Then we have the fungus on a fishing rod from the Terrible Trio Nether adventure that we went on with Chespy and Buzzy, where we went in the Nether, we went to Nether fortresses, we found some bastions, and then we even went and found the rare snowy wolf. So that is definitely a very good memory and a really fun adventure that we went on. Next up, we have a bed, which this bed is actually Seaman's bed, and it is the bed that caused my first totem popping. I unfortunately did not get this one on camera. I wish I did, but basically I stole Seaman's bed, and I was trying not to pop a totem because I wanted my first totem popping, since you get the achievement for it, to be on my own, but he ended up accidentally popping my totem by shooting me with arrows and stuff, so that is the memory of this bed right here. Then we have this banner, which is the Among Us banner, because it kind of looks like an Among Us. This banner was given to me by Morg while I was doing the Mobhead Museum time-lapse building it. He came over and just gave me this banner, which I thought was funny. And then, of course, in this spot, we have this amazing allium, which was the big allium that was on top of our portal. Back before I built my nether portal I have now, Chespy went and put an allium on an armor stand, made it huge, and put it on top of our nether portal. So this is the exact allium. And in relation to this allium, we have the egg from the sniffer prank that we did on Chespy, where we filled his house with sniffers and put so many sniffers around his base. We're still finding sniffers everywhere. And then then we have this wind charge from our very first trial chamber we went to with Dan and Chespy. This was one that I got out of the ominous keys, and so obviously since the trial chambers came out in this update, we had to have one in our treasure room. Next up, we have a cod in memory of Cider and Sauce. This was from the apple bobbing competition that Captain Pineapple built that me and Chespy did, where we tried to get a dolphin into the water place, and Cider and Sauce, the two dolphins, ended up dying. One suffocating in the air and one suffocating in the water. Rest in peace, Cider and Sauce. And then we have the warden head from the Ancient City adventure that we went on with Chespy. This Ancient City adventure was crazy. One, because it was my very first Ancient City that I went to this season, but then Chespy died, he lost all of his stuff, he ended up dying a ton more times, and we ended up killing a ton of wardens. And in relation to the Ancient City adventure, our next item we have is Chespy's 100th death head. While in the Ancient City, Chespy got to 99 deaths, and then I managed to keep Chespy alive. So then, after we got to his base, I killed him, so I had his 100th death. And then, more recently, we have this compass that says arrive at dark, bring a trident, which is the thing that Pug set up for us at the Mob Head Museum, where we got all of the mob heads. And on the spot, we have all of our books of people who adopted a panda. So these are all of the panda adoption books from Maddie and Rad. They were just kind of sitting in a barrel at my house, and I thought it would be cool to just put in my treasure room to show off the pandas that got adopted. Then we have this parrot head called the Tree Farm Parrot. Basically, I didn't make a video about this or anything, but Chespy and I built tree farms, and this parrot was just in the middle of where we needed to build the tree farm, and then I just went and killed him. That is why he is on here. And then one of our last things we have is this book I recently found down in the hole that I mined, and it's from Captain Pineapple, so I just made a little spot for it right here. And now in these 4 spots up here, we have some posters, because right now there's a election happening on Lotus for the shopping district mayor between Margaret the Sheep and Sniffington the Sniffer. So I thought those were a cool little thing to add to the treasure room. And our final addition to our treasure room is this blue axolotl head. Seamand and I did a stream where I streamed until we got the blue axolotl. That way we could get the head for the Mob Head Museum. So now our treasure room is officially done and is filled with all of our treasures of the season. The final thing we need to do for the treasure room before it is done is I want to get a path set up all the way to the wolf village. That way it is connected. So we need to chop down a few trees. I think I want to take it around this way and then around. I think that will be the best way to do it. All right, I think that will be our path. So we need to chop down a few trees. So now while we chop down these trees, let's talk about why I have decided to step out of Lotus for the season, because it is still pretty early on, so why am I stepping out of the season? During season 2, I had planned for season 3 to be my final season of Lotus. I did not expect to step out of the season early. I wanted to finish the season off and then that be my last season, but things happen in life that you don't really plan for. Sometime next year in 2025, my family is going to be moving. So when I move, I'm gonna not be able to really make videos for a bit. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to finish the season off the way I want to, instead of just leaving abruptly and not being able to really finish the season off. Because I really did not want to do that, especially since this season is going to be my last season of Lotus. So I figured leaving while I am now and leaving Lotus in 2024 was the best option. But that is basically why I have decided to leave the season early, opposed to finishing the season off. Plus, right now, I'm kind of just getting burnt out of SMP content. This season of Lotus is my 3rd season. I've been here since the very first season of Lotus, and I just don't really know what else to do on an SMP, because every season, you know, you start a new world, and it can kind of get pretty repetitive. First episode is the beginning, you build your starter house, and then you just work your way up, so it gets kind of repetitive, and I'm ready to just figure out what else I want to do on YouTube, because I've kind of been struggling with that a little bit. I don't really know what kind of videos I really super enjoy making. Like, I make hardcore videos and all that, which are really fun, but I want to figure out something that I'm, like, super excited to do on YouTube. Every time I get to record it, I'm, like, having the best time ever, and I'm just super excited to get videos out and all that. I want to figure that out. Right now, Lotus is kind of just there for me. Like, I'm just kind of making videos on it to make videos on it, which I don't really want to do. Also, because I kind of have the mindset, if you watched my channel during season 2 of Lotus, I built a super cool base, one that I had been super excited to build. I planned it fully out beforehand, so it was perfect. And I made a theme park, which I hadn't planned on building, but it is 100% my pride and joy. I absolutely love Colorland and how it turned out. And right now, like, in my mindset of SMP content, I feel like there's no way I can top that theme park in terms of builds, just because it was so amazing and I really enjoyed building it, and everyone seemed to really enjoy the build, viewers and members. And right now with my base, because this season I decided to go small and not really do any mega projects, I kind of just feel weird, because like I went from making something super cool last season to not really building anything super cool this season. Yeah, that is my podcast on why I am leaving Lotus for this season and future seasons. Now, I'm going to build the path, and then I will come back when the path is built. And now we have a path that connects the Wolf Village all the way to the treasure room. So now the treasure room is officially connected to the rest of our area, meaning we have officially finished the goal of today, which means it's time that we say goodbye and we put all of our armor up. I didn't really plan on joining Lotus for Season 3, but I am really glad I did. Even though it was a short one for me, we still made so many great memories on the server. Between all of the fun shenanigans and builds, I enjoyed every moment. Season 3 was definitely a great end to my time on Lotus. Even though I am closing this chapter of Lotus in my YouTube journey, I am truly honored to have been chosen to be a part of such an amazing SMP. Back when I first joined Lotus, I had just hit 100 subscribers and had only been making videos for 10 months. Being a part of Lotus, I have met so many amazing people and made some of the best friends. The server and community has taught me so much about YouTube, helped me improve on my content making, and overall has helped with my confidence with recording. With that being said, it is finally time to close this chapter of my YouTube journey and learn how to grow on my own. I've been struggling for a while with where I fit in on YouTube and what type of videos I like to make, so this next chapter is about figuring that out. I'm excited for this next journey, and I hope you will stick around with me as I find out what's next for me. But for now, this is goodbye to our amazing server we call Lotus.